first and foremost, Eid Mubarak to all the Muslims around the world. For those that don't know, it is now time for Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr is the celebration of the breaking of the fast all around the world right now, give or take. It's going to depend on the time of day, but Muslims all around the world right now are celebrating Eid al-Fitr. The word Eid literally means a festival, and there are two different Eids in Islam. There's Eid al-Fitr, which happens after the holy month of Ramadan, and then there's of course Eid al-Adha, which happens uh, right after the time of Hajj. It's called the Feast of Sacrifice. It's an annual event that happens at the end of the pilgrimage to Mecca, which is one of the obligations of Islam. But Eid al-Fitr is the feast of the breaking of the fast. So for the next couple of days, Muslims will be celebrating. They'll be having special morning prayers. Muslims will greet each other with Eid Mubarak, which simply means a blessed Eid. You will hear people say things back like Kul Am wa Anta Bakhair, Kul Sana wa Anta Bakhair, Kul Am wa Anta Salim, or something like that, basically wishing people a year of peace or a year of being well. People will be preparing dishes, sweets. People will be encouraged. Muslims are encouraged to forgive and seek forgiveness. One of the most powerful parts of Islam is the commitment to grace and mercy. Muslims begin all things, certainly all chapters of the Quran, all prayers, with the tasmiyah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman, the beneficent or the gracious, ar-Rahim, the merciful. But when you look at the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so many of them are about grace and mercy. Ar-Rahman, ar-Rahim, al-Ghafar, al-Ghafur. In chapters of Tawab, we could go on and on, right? A sabur, the patient. So much of Islam is about this, and Ramadan is a time to really sort of focus on that. It's also a time to really think about what one has just endured after a month of fasting, which for me ended about 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago. You are encouraged to not only recognize the individual's capacity to endure, but also to understand the creator's capacity to provide, the creator's capacity to sustain you, to give the razak, the provision. And so you're going to see a lot of celebrations. You're going to see a lot of joy. And I want to say something specifically about Black Muslims. And I'm not saying this to be divisive. I'm saying this to say that if you're trying to understand Black Islam here in the United States, you're going to see Eid celebrations all around the country. And in the masajid, in the mosques that are Black, you are going to see a really interesting thing, which I love, right? Since I was a teenager. And that is that Black folk have their own traditions. Black Muslims have their own traditions, not different religious traditions, not different religious rituals, but different modes of expression. You're going to see Black Muslims dressed the way Black Muslims dress. The food at the Eid is going to be different. You're going to see black eyed peas. You're going to see collard greens. You're going to see sweet potato pie. You might even see mac and cheese, which, is nasty, but whatever. Do your thing. You're going to see all of the elements of Black culture and Black society that are bound up in Islam. So for Black Muslims, at least a large chunk of Black Muslims, the goal isn't to be Arabs. The goal isn't to walk around as if you're in Saudi Arabia, but instead to link your own cultural practices, your own cultural traditions to your faith practices and faith traditions. Eid is also an opportunity for, specifically this year, to think about those who are less fortunate. There's not going to be an elaborate Eid celebration in Gaza. There's not going to be an elaborate Eid celebration in Darfur or in Khartoum in Sudan. There's not going to be opportunities for that such because of the extraordinary horrors that are taking place in those respective countries. And so It's also important during Eid to think about the less fortunate. Think about those who endured the fast but aren't getting the relief that we're getting. Um, it's also an opportunity for zakat, also known as zakat al-Fitr, right? Which means that during the breaking of the fast is a specific time for alms or charity. It's an opportunity to be a blessing to others. It's an opportunity to distribute one's wealth to the less fortunate. And so let's think about that during this Eid. But once again, Eid Mubarak to all, I will say to cool, to all the Muslims around the country and around the world. And what a blessed time to be alive.